alertwolf, bring you a new anime review for a show I'm starting. This is gonna be on Attack on Titan, and I'm starting with episode 6. Now there's supposed to be like 20 something episodes, maybe 25 episodes, so it's okay that I start with 6. And actually, the reason why all these animes are for the spring season is late is, if you guys know me, you know my channel was taken down over some copyright BS, but I finally got it back. The process took about 2 months. Some of that was a little bit me, but more 90% of it was Google being slow. But that aside, I am super excited to be doing Attack on Titan now. A while ago, there was a user that had sent me a message, and he wanted me to do, this is a long time ago, I don't even think this guy subscribed to me, but he was watching my Green Blood review. He was like, dude, you gotta review Attack on Titan. It's awesome, as far as the manga is concerned. And I hadn't heard of it. I told him I hadn't heard of it yet. He's like, it's not too far in. He's like, and check it out. So eventually I checked it out, and I think I read the first 4 issues or chapters, not issues but chapters, and I liked it. And I said, but I really didn't have the time in my schedule to catch myself up to review it. And then about a month later, I find out, I think I was watching a video I was a live stream. I was chatting in a live stream with like Bankai 922, and he mentioned that Attack on Titan was getting its own show. And I'm thinking, you know what? Instead of just catching up on Attack on Titan, which I really didn't have time to do, I'll just wait for the anime. And then I told the dude, I was like, dude, I'm going to review the anime. That's what I'm going to do. And so that was a promise I made. This is what I'm doing right now. And see, there you go, guys. It wasn't even to one of my subscribers. It was just some guy who left a comment. And that's really all it takes to interact with me. But, or at least I don't think he's a subscriber. If he is, that'd be great. But you know what it is? You know what turned me off to the manga? I thought the writing was great, the action was good, suspense, gore, the whole works. What turned me off was the horrible artwork. And you know what? Sometimes that's all it takes with comic books and mangas. You could have a great story, and you just have shitty artwork, and you're immediately turned off to the thing. And that happens because it's the artwork that draws you in, and the story that keeps you in. You get what I'm saying? So, and that's true of any drawn medium, so to speak. It is the image that draws you in, but it's the same in life, right? They say not to judge a book by its cover, but the truth is, in life, you see a pretty girl out there, that's what draws you into her. Or if you're a dude, or a chick or whatever, you see a pretty dude, or whatever your preference is. Or if you see a pretty chick out there, or a pretty girl, that draws you in. It's the personality that keeps you there. Now, sometimes it's the other way around. Sometimes that personality, or in this case, the story is just so strong that you don't care what the person looks like, as far as dating them, or in this case, reading the manga. Now, and I guess that, I'm getting too much into tangents here, but that's what it is with Attack on Titan. Like, I did enjoy the manga, the few chapters I read, but I figured, you know what? The purpose of an anime for an ongoing manga is to draw you into that manga. Now, on this, the animation is excellent on Attack on Titan. The artwork is great. if the manga looked this good, woo, you know what I'm saying? Think about how many people would be paying attention then. And voice acting is really good. I mean, even though it's technically, Japanese and watching subtitles, but whatever, it's still very good. The music is good. The suspense and timing is good. So I'm in love with this anime. I think it is great. Every episode has been really good. And so, it's funny. I held back. I held back from watching this one anime because I knew I was going to review it. So I didn't watch it until yesterday. I held back. I held myself back. I didn't watch anybody's reviews on it. I just kept myself in a bubble. Let's get into this particular episode. Episode 6. Now, the series thus far has been really good. The fighting, again, brutal. Kind of reminds me a little bit of Gantz, a little bit of Guyver, in that sense of violence. But in this one, it's following the events that happened last episode, which is the apparent death of Eren. Eren. And Mikasa, which is funny that's her name. She's like Crystal, yo. But Mikasa is basically, this is her story, her backstory on what's going on and how she became the way she is. And she's fighting, and she's so badass. I'm really digging her as a character, but basically her backstory is pretty fucked up. So what happens is that she lived with her parents. Now, obviously, she had a different last name. If you guys hadn't figured it out by now, obviously they weren't really related, but she was like a sister to him because she was living with him. So now we get why she was an orphan. And so she lived with her family. After all, he was remember, Eren's dad was the town doctor. And so she lived with the family out in their cabin and on their property, whatever. And he was supposed to make a house call visit to check up on them, see how things are going. And there's jokes about how innocent a girl she is. She wanted to know where babies come from, and they pass the buck along to the dad and all this, and then there's a knock on the door and everything's hunky-dory, and then this is how good the anime cuts to them on the other side of the door knocking, but then if you're paying attention, it's a little darker than it should be, and he's knocking a lot, and in the last scene he went to the door, he was going to the door, so why is he still knocking? See, there are subtle cues here that things are about to go horribly, horribly wrong if you're really paying attention to it. You open the door and there's blood everywhere, and then Eren sees this, and he sees all the blood, and his eyes change a little, and they are looking for her because now she's missing. And he tells them to wait at the bottom of the hill or whatever, and he's gonna check out the crime scene basically. And the next thing we see is from the robbers' perspective, the kidnappers. They had planned to kidnap the mother and the daughter because the mother was Asian and there are no more Asians left alive, and the daughter is half Asian. But during the kidnapping, one of the dudes botched it. So the idea was they were just going to kill the husband right away, which they did, and then they were going to capture both women. But the mother was fighting to stall to let the daughter get away. The daughter was in such shock about what was going on that she couldn't move, and she was being traumatized and whatnot. And the guy panicked and killed the mother, and then they took the daughter. And now they're waiting building, you know, because they have to smuggle her into the inner thing to, you know, sell her to perverts. They said, and she's a virgin and all this. So this is her life. She's about to be sold as a sex slave. And then you hear a knock on the door, and it's Aaron, and he's like, "I'm lost. It was raining." Because, you know, the response from the killer dude is like, "Oh, the fuck are you, kid?" And he's like, "Oh, all right, don't worry." And he's planning on killing the kid because they're not supposed to be seen. And all of a sudden, stab. And I'm like, "Oh shit, really, really, yes." And then some more stabbing, and then some more killing, and Aaron takes out two of the kidnappers, kills them both. And he brutally just starts stabbing one of them. "Die, you scum," and shit. Bang, bang, bang. And I'm like, ooh, really? Really? So at 7, this, you know, I'm thinking back to when other scenes of their childhood when people were fucking with them. Like, I wouldn't fuck with the kid. The way he saved her was brutally killing some dudes. I wouldn't fuck with that kid. Wouldn't fuck with him. He already done murdered people, and it is good. And then this other younger dude comes out of nowhere, and I don't even remember seeing him in the part where they kidnap people, but whatever. I think there was a third person. So he starts choking him, and he's gonna kill him, and he's telling her to fight. He's like, "We either fight or we die." And something in her snaps. Now you see like green lightning energy flowing down her, and like the floor break a little where she's standing. And she feels like, she says a switch went off in her head. She feels like she could do anything. And then she acts and kills this dude. So this is why she's different. She and then as they're going away, he you know, Aaron's like, she's like, "Oh, I need to go home. It's cold. Can I go home?" And he's like, "Yeah, you can." Aaron's like, "Come, you're coming home with us. We're your home now." And you know, the dad was with it, you know, because and it's funny, in the beginning the dad was worried if they were going to get along because they were around the same age. So just like that, they adopted Mikasa without even blinking. It was the right thing to do, and it was great. And this is why she's so concerned about her family. Now, then we get scenes of and that's half of the episode. Now the other half of the episode takes place in the present. All right, there is a scene of we see, you know, we see who am I thinking of? Armin, and some of the others find him, and his team is already all taken out. Now, I knew his team was going to get taken out, by the way. I knew all those dudes were fodder. You know, you could just tell characters by the way they're animated or their expressions that these dudes are just fodder dudes. I mean, so you knew more. I thought the only two who were going to make it would be Aaron and Armin. But you know, and I say apparent death because there's no way they killed the main character off in the first. I mean, it's been done before, but, you know, and again, guys, remember, I didn't read past, like, chapter 4, so I don't know how he's going to get out of this bitch, but I have a feeling it's going to be something crazy, and it has to do with the shot he took. I'm wondering if he has, like, rapid regeneration or something like that, and he's just able to heal, so he's able to fight them, you know? Something like that, I feel like, is going to happen. Because he lost his arm and his leg. And I'm like, there's no fucking way in one of these animes he's just going to keep him. And he got eaten. That this isn't going to go wrong. You know what I mean? Like, so. But, anyway. And that was the beginning of the episode. They find him and he's freaked out and then he bounces. But, with her kicking ass, she is going after these monsters really fast. I mean, you get a scene of this one rich dude blocking the way because he's blocking with his big cart full of shit, and people are stuck there, and people are afraid to talk back to him because he's so rich. And she comes along, and there's a giant just running for the crowd, like this Titan's gonna eat these motherfuckers. Like, ah! And he's just booking, and she comes out of nowhere and kills this motherfucker, chopping him in the back of the neck. And he falls, and he dies. And she's like, what's going on? And he's like, oh, you guys, we need to get these things through, and she's like, my friends are living and dying, my friends are dying out there to make sure you guys get out, and you're holding the line. And he's like, yeah, well, it's your duty to die, to sacrifice yourself for the rest of us. She goes, oh, you're about sacrifice. And she walks up to this fat dude, takes out her swords, and she just like knocks people out of the way. She's like, good, because I'm gonna sacrifice you. He's like, you can't do that. I'll tell, and then you'll be in trouble. One word from me. She goes, what word from a dead man? And he's like, fine, I'll move the cart. And so they move the cart out of the way, and he gets out. And then she goes off and just starts taking out more things. And then that's pretty much how the episode ends. She is badass. She is the only one I have seen in this anime kill a Titan. And despite how good Eren was, he was freaking eaten. So that just shows you. And you know what it is? Eren could probably take one out, and they could all like take them out one at a time, but there's just too many of them, and that's why they're getting slaughtered. But she is just friggin' killing them left and right. She is badass. So I love that. So what am I gonna give this episode? This episode had some flashback, had some just straight up murdering. I'm gonna give this episode a 5 out of 5. I don't even like to do that for the first review of an anime. I don't. But this episode was. I mean, the training episodes were. You know what? For the first episode was badass. The second episode was kind of badass. The third episode was okay. The fourth episode, the twist at the end was tough. The fifth episode was great, and this episode, great. So there you go. This is where I'm at the series right now. Just so you know. So yeah, I think the next one and the next episode is going to be episode 7, and that one is the Tiny Blade Battle of the Frost District Part 3. So it's the Tiny Blade. And yeah, so I believe my next review is going to be excuse me. Alright, my next review is going to be of Arata the Legend, and that one will be on episode 6 as well. So, look forward to it. And then I got Majestic Prince episode 6, and Hineko, the Hentai Prince and the Stone Cat. I'll give you episode 5, and then episode 6 will be out in a few days. So there we go. And that is those are my anime reviews. And if there's a new whenever the next Transformers is, I'll do as well. I mean, I think I might put out the 4 previous episodes just to catch myself up, but I'm not sure what I'm doing with that yet. But anyway, so click it up if you like it, comment if you must, and please subscribe if you can. And this is your buddy alertwolf signing out.